Tonight, the face-off that could decide the fate of American democracy. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris square off in a contest that sometimes bordered on bizarre.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats.
Melbourne under siege, streets turn into a war zone as thousands of protesters clash with riot police and confront delegates outside a military expo. A courtroom bombshell as wife killer Brian Johnston takes to the witness stand in the murder trial of his alleged accomplice. Our Paralympians return home from Paris. We're at Brisbane Airport for reunions, why some of them have to go back to work tomorrow.
And I'm Liz Cantor. I'll have your forecast for tomorrow, including areas severe spring storms may hit.
Made in Brisbane. This is 10 News First with Sharyn Ghidella.
Good evening. Kamala Harris has taken on Donald Trump in the pair's first US presidential debate ahead of the November poll. The Vice President goaded and poked her opponent, while Trump lashed out at the Democrats' handling of immigration. And while Harris was declared the winner by some, she already wants another debate.
She was a woman on a mission.
Kamala Harris.
After meeting for the first time, Kamala Harris hit where it hurts.
He talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer. And what you will also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
She called Donald Trump weak and wrong and brought up his egotism.
These dictators and autocrats are rooting for you to be president again because they're so clear. They can manipulate you with flattery and favors.
And while Trump struggled to answer questions about his healthcare policies,
just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan.
I have concepts of a plan.
He fired up when talking about the economy.
I had no inflation, virtually no inflation. They had the highest inflation perhaps in the history of our country.
What's clear from the debate is that voters have two very different choices for who they want in the White House. While Kamala Harris is promising a new way forward, Donald Trump wants to accomplish much of what he couldn't during his term, which was largely sidetracked by the global pandemic. Perhaps the most bizarre moment came during a heated back and forth on immigration.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats.
He was checked immediately.
And ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured or abused by individuals.
And while both candidates claimed victory,
Now she wants to do another one because she got beaten tonight.
Okay, today was a good day. We got to work tomorrow.
there can be only one winner come November. Catherine Firkin for 10 News First, Washington, DC.
The critical question tonight, which candidate emerged from the debate with an improved chance of winning the election in just 55 days? Here's our National Affairs editor, Hugh Riminton.
The curious thing about this debate is that one candidate is still fighting the last election that he still claims he won.
There's so much proof. All you have to do is look at it.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. Clearly, he is having a very difficult time processing that.
The moderators kept Trump on a tight leash.
Her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies.
The tone was tart.
She was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out, wait a minute, I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
Trump worked to tie Harris to the aging president.
She is Biden.
She worked to slip the knot.
Clearly, I am not Joe Biden, and I am certainly not Donald Trump. And what I do offer is a new generation of leadership for our country.
Tellingly, when Trump honed in on a Democrat weakness, illegal immigration, she changed the subject.
People start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
He took the bait.
People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
Trump is claiming victory.
Best debate. I thought it was very good. I thought she was very weak on foreign policy.
Harris is claiming Taylor Swift, the superstar, endorsing the Democrat hopeful. 55 days now to go.
Melbourne streets have descended into chaos as more than 1,000 angry protesters clash with police, injuring officers, lighting fires and attacking police horses. They rallied in opposition to a weapons expo being held in the city.
Protesters gathered in the city, claiming to want peace, but only bringing violence.
Get back off!
They rallied against a weapons expo being held at the Melbourne Convention and Exhibition Centre, yet hurled their own at officers. And assaulted delegates as they tried to get into the venue. Police are trying to contain protesters on both ends of the Spencer Street Bridge, and the situation has just escalated again, with police charging forward, pushing the protesters away from the convention centre. Victoria Police, backed by reinforcements from New South Wales, were pelted with rocks, bottles, horse manure and sprayed with acid. Officers fought back with capsicum spray, batons, flash distraction devices and non-lethal munitions. As police formed a wall and tried to force the group across the Yarra River, protesters created a barricade and set wheelie bins and skips on fire. The violence resulted in dozens of arrests and 24 officers were injured.
They come here to protest against anti-war, so presumably anti-violence. The only way I can describe them is a bunch of hypocrites.
And while the expo went ahead, those inside were perplexed.
They should go home. You know, all they're doing is creating drama and trouble. Defence industry is integral in keeping our people safe. The role of the Australian Defence Force is to fight in and win our wars, and we need defence industry to be able to do that.
Samantha Butler for 10 News First.
A wife killer and former US Marine has spoken publicly for the first time since Kelly Wilkinson was murdered outside her Gold Coast home. Brian Earl Johnston today testified at the trial of his former employee who is accused of helping him.
Brian Johnston doesn't look like this anymore. His face now bears the scars from flames he lit to kill estranged wife Kelly Wilkinson. Today, he appeared as a witness in the Supreme Court trial of co-accused Bradley Bell. You had not told Bradley you were going to kill Kelly Wilkinson. No, sir, I left a will and suicide letters that contradict those allegations. Prosecutors say Bell knowingly aided Johnston in his murderous plot by driving the killer to Kelly's house. Bell has pleaded not guilty, but in a police interview recorded several months after Kelly's death and played to the jury today, he said, "I knew Brian's intentions the entire time, but I didn't think he was capable." He told police he knew Johnston had been charged with raping Kelly and he'd heard Brian mention murder-suicide. He said he was done for something he hadn't done, the rape charges. He wanted to take her down, then take himself out. But today, Bell told the court he didn't know Brian's intentions and lied to police because he was scared he'd get in trouble for driving Brian to Kelly's house. I decided to make a lie that would fit the story of Brian being guilty and them not needing me. So your reasoning process was to get yourself out of trouble by telling police you knew exactly what Brian went to Miss Wilkinson's to do. I don't understand what my thought process was. I didn't know I was digging my own grave. The trial continues. Matt Johnston for 10 News First.
A bus driver addicted to painkillers who killed 10 wedding guests in the Hunter Valley will spend at least 24 years behind bars. Brett Button spoke in court for an hour, apologising to families and survivors.
For days, their grief has consumed a court, though their heartache will last forever.
I don't know about other people. They might find that this is a closure for them. But my niece was only 22. She had so many more years to live.
They knew, raised and loved Darcy Bullman, Rebecca Mullen, Zach Bray, couple Andrew Scott and Lynn Scott, Tori Calburn, Angus Craig, mother and daughter Nadine McBride and Kaya McBride, and Kaya's partner Kane Simons. All 10 lives stolen in last year's horror bus crash at Greta. Their driver was painkiller dependent Brett Button. He'll now serve at least 24 years behind bars.
Addiction is a disease, I'll admit that. But no matter what, he was still responsible for all those lives.
It shows that they mattered.
Hours earlier, in a courtroom filled with those he's hurt most, a shaking Button wept, "I'm sorry, but how do you say you're sorry for such a horrible, tragic event that has ruined the lives of hundreds of people? I can't forgive myself. I hate myself. I never meant to hurt anyone in my entire life, and now I've committed the ultimate sin." Button admits he'd taken too much of opioid painkiller tramadol on the day of the tragedy. He'd also been going too fast. In the words of a district court judge of 21 years, "I've never dealt with, seen or even read about a case that involved anywhere near the same extent of extraordinary devastation." At one point, the judge interjected with his own questions about Button's understanding of why doctors were concerned about his use of tramadol, especially when driving. Button said he'd been using it for so long, he never felt affected by it. But the sentencing judge says Button abandoned his responsibility to his passengers, and for that he's been jailed for a maximum of 32 years.
We want people to remember them as the loving, kind, caring people that they were.
Alice Hogg for 10 News First.
New laws have just passed in state parliament which could have seen a daycare pedophile suspended when the first complaint was received. Live to state political reporter Brendan Smith. And Brendan, the blue card system is being overhauled.
Sharyn, the changes will bolster screening methods, require greater communication between agencies, and we'll see a blue card suspended if there's a risk to a child while an assessment of the card holder is underway. The changes come as pedophile Ashley Paul Griffith awaits sentencing after the former childcare worker pleaded guilty to 307 offences over almost 2 decades, sparking the opposition to pledge a statewide inquiry into child safety if it wins the election.
Will restore confidence in a system that parents have lost confidence in. When they go and drop their child off at a childcare centre, they want to know that their child will be safe.
Sharyn, the inquiry would be led by the Family and Child Commissioner.
Brendan Smith there live at State Parliament. Thank you. Queensland has welcomed home its Paralympic champions with a roaring reception they'll never forget. There were tears of joy and pride from family and friends as athletes showed off some shiny gold hardware, having won the hearts of the nation in the process.
Off the plane, they arrived to cheers, hugs and handshakes. St Lucia's Jack Ireland home with his maiden medals and into the arms of family.
Yeah, I was expecting all this, so it's a really good reception as well.
We couldn't be happier, couldn't be prouder for him.
Many of the athletes travelling with a bit of excess baggage and some weighty achievements.
A kilo and a half, something in that range, but no, it's really satisfying.
My neck is still alright. I might have to get back to training tomorrow morning to release the neck muscles.
These are wonderful athletes and they deserve our gratitude.
From Sydney, they dispersed, our Queensland athletes arriving into Brisbane this afternoon.
I'm just really happy to be back and actually get in my own bed.
What's on the cards for you once you're home now?
Probably have a shower as soon as possible.
A number of the athletes arriving home are actually heading straight back into their jobs tomorrow. Some, though, taking a well-deserved break from their sports. Their eyes, though, firmly on LA and Brisbane 2032.
I want to go faster. I want to go under a minute. And then we'll just keep setting the bar higher and higher.
Very, very, very proud.
Oh, Mum, made me cry.
They're hopeful the lead up to our games keeps the spotlight on the Paralympics so they can go from strength to strength.
I think Dylan Walcott said it, don't forget about us.
How could you with moments like these? Pippa Sheehan for 10 News First.
Could never forget. Well, still to come on 10 News First Queensland, how everything you ever posted since 2007 is being used to train artificial intelligence. Plus, the shocking pictures showing just how close a Centenary Bridge worker came to losing his life after being impaled in the neck. First it was Daniel Morecambe, then a boy dressed in a Spider-Man suit became the focus of a nation. A special story on the eve of the 10th anniversary of William Tyrrell's disappearance. And the Gold Coast Grommet surfing 30 days straight for charity.
Thank God you're here, Captain.
You too.
Oh my God.
So I actually have vertigo, so this is actually really brave of me.
You're wicked, Erica. Kids really relate to me rapping.
Walking through the blue door tonight, it's Ray O'Leary, Susie Youssef, Virginia Gay and Lloyd Langford. Thank God you're here. Tonight on 10 and 10 Play.
This is embarrassing. Turns out this footage is not suitable to be shown on television. But Valvoline Motor Oil, super suitable for your car. Get your hands on the best performing oils at Super Cheap Auto. Make it super.
How do I know if there's consent?
What if I said yes earlier? Can I still change my mind?
If we don't know the answers, how will our kids? Check your understanding at consent.gov.au. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Check out the new home for shopping recommendations, how-tos and what-to-dos with a huge range of products, hot deals, sales and events, all compiled by our trusted experts. It all checks out at news.com.au checkout.
Tom and Jill really blew the budget on their kitchen renovation. Jack and Penny caboodled their kitchen. They designed it themselves and it saved them heaps. So they can even afford to enjoy it. Caboodle. Your kitchen, your way, for less.
Cirque du Soleil arrives in Brisbane this month with Lucia. Experience breathtaking acrobatics under the iconic Big Top. Open September 25 next to Royal Queensland Golf Club. Book now.
Panadol Extra. For tough pain. So you can be there for whatever you... Classic Dave. Panadol Extra. Care starts here.
Whatever your claim, big or small, at Yui, we're onto it. Every step of the way, with every claim, we're onto it. Lodge, assess, action, track, resolve. Yui, you insured.
Right now at Domino's, there's more choice for everyone with My Domino's Box, the moresome meal for one. Now with 15 mini pizzas and even more sides to choose from. Get more from Domino's.
It's the life-changing question that makes everybody go, wow. Deal or no deal? Wow. Next on 10 and 10 Play.
Lakes Hyundai at North Lakes is part of a family-owned and operated business for over 55 years. It's your one-stop shop for Hyundai, from sales to service. Come and see Joseph and Joe Camilleri today at Lakes Hyundai. We've got the north side covered.
G'day, take a look at those roads as we start to wrap up your hump day and some busy conditions heading southbound through. Too bad, a lot clearer over the today, but heavy heading out of the city, of course, for your traffic through Wollongabba, pushing down towards Greenslopes on the Pacific Motorway. That's about 20-25 minutes in congestion, and the Riverside Expressway quite busy inbound, outbound as well. Still about a 30-minute delay northbound from Boondall, pushing up towards the Bruce Highway, but a nice run heading through to the Sunshine Coast. It's Travis Groves, thanks to Lakes Hyundai. I'll be back for another traffic update shortly.
Everything you've posted publicly on Facebook or Instagram since 2007 is being used by parent company Meta to train its artificial intelligence tools. Users in the European Union are able to opt out, but Australians are not. The social media giant says setting posts to private is the only way to stop your data from being collected.
So we're not using photos that are posted by accounts of under 18-year-olds. We are using public photos posted by people over 18.
Meta couldn't say how many of its users are under 16, but reiterated its commitment to protecting young people from the harms of social media. Peter Dutton has declared he'll be the best friend the mining industry has ever had. Speaking to the Minerals Council conference, he promised as Prime Minister he'd speed up the approval of more than 400 resource and energy projects.
All the elements of a looming election.
A Dutton coalition government will be the best friend that the mining and resources sector in Australia will ever have.
The opposition leader insists he can be a better friend than the Prime Minister by repealing some policies, taking aim at industrial relation laws and environmental restrictions.
The fact is that his government is hostile to mining and to other critical primary industries.
Peter Dutton maintains his opposition to the government's Future Made in Australia scheme that includes $17 billion in tax incentives for critical minerals production. He says it sidelines iron ore, coal, gas and uranium.
They are paranoid about losing votes to Green candidates in inner-city seats.
Earlier, the Environment Minister fronted the Minerals Council, fresh from granting an Indigenous heritage protection order over part of a proposed gold mine site in the New South Wales Central West.
There are times that you won't like the decisions I make, but hard decisions are a part of this job, and I'm not going to shy away from them.
A coalition government would overturn the decision. The opposition leader's speech wasn't just about trying to shore up support from the powerful mining lobby. It was also about reaching voters in Western Australia, where the next election could be won and lost.
It's extraordinary that he said where his friendship lies, not with ordinary Australians, not with the environment, but with a bunch of multinational mining giants.
What we want to do is to be a friend of the mining industry, and that includes mining workers.
Ashley Raper for 10 News First.
Well, let's get a quick check of your weather around Queensland now with Liz Cantor. And Liz, it's been a much more settled day for the southeast.
Yes, Sharyn, amazing what a difference 24 hours can make in spring. Here at Burleigh, this time yesterday, intense rainfall, thunder, lightning. This afternoon, sunshine. Joining me is 10-year-old Noah Colbert. Now, Noah has been supporting charity Surf Aid for the past 4 years, which means you started at the age of 6 when some kids are still learning to swim. How did you get involved?
Well, when my mum told me the story about Surf Aid and remote surfing communities for helping families in need, I was really keen to jump on board, and a bonus, I got to surf every day for a whole month.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Let me tell you more about it. Make a Wave inspires surfers around the world to surf for 30 days in September. This initiative not only celebrates Noah's love of surfing, but also supports Surf Aid's mission to provide healthcare, clean water and food security in remote surf communities. Surfers of all skill levels are encouraged to get involved and challenge themselves for this worthy cause. Now, Noah, you're 11 days in. So far this September, we've had a run of small conditions, but on Friday, the waves are meant to become big, double overhead for you, no doubt. How do you handle the big stuff?
Well, my old coach, Corey, said that he said, don't think, just go. So I'm going to take that on board and try and catch the biggest bomb. And if an adult jumps in on me, I'm going to say, hop off my wave.
Well, there you go. Stand up for yourself, and you're doing great things for a charity. Let's have a look at today's temperatures now in Brisbane. We had a low of 17 before a high of 26, under a millimetre of rain since 9 a.m. The satellite shows there's still some isolated showers in the southeast from North Brisbane up to Rainbow Beach. Some are pushing inland. A new trough is moving into the southwest of Queensland, and this travels eastward, bringing back instability to southern and central areas with the possibility of severe storms. And this is how it looked throughout Queensland today, where it remained mostly dry for the north and west, 22 to 29 for Cairns, 16 to 27 for Bundaberg. And in the southeast, since 9 a.m, 16 millimetres has fallen over Redcliffe, 9 to 24 there. Further inland, 15 to 28 for Ipswich. Now, Sharyn, Noah has kindly gifted me a charity rash shirt, so I guess I've got to become involved too. I might go out and get a wave before the next weather hit.
Good luck with that. Noah might give you a run for your money, Lizzie. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Up next, tears in Logan as a tent city outside Jim Chalmers' office is torn down with 2 hours' notice. And the tale of a passenger plane severed after a collision on a tarmac.
It's the life-changing question that makes everybody go, wow. Deal or no deal? Wow. Next on 10 and 10 Play.
Queensland. It's a great place to call home. But as we know, the weather can turn in an instant. If your home could talk, would it ask to be covered by the experts? Search Suncorp Home Insurance today.
Exceedingly good cakes.
The Killers return to Brisbane. December 9 at Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Performing their Rebel Diamonds' greatest hits. Celebrate The Killers' 20 years of hits. Tickets on sale Thursday.
In the land of ice and snow, Arendelle will let it go!
Get a bonus Disney Worlds of Wonder collector card pack at Woolworths when you purchase participating products from Dove or Omo in a $30 shop. Start collecting today.
Get that BCFing holiday feeling. Club members score this Wanderer projector, now $129.99. You beauty! Sail on now.
That BCF and feeling is BCF and fun.
Time is luxury, which is why we spend it designing and refining to make the time you spend behind the wheel of a Polestar the best time of your day. Book your time with Polestar 3 at polestar.com.
Do you need assistance?
You're his mother now.
The processing that used to happen here
Mama.
is now coming more from here. Ready?
I guess I have to be.
The Wild Robot in cinemas Thursday.
Law. Pleasure is gold.
What's your pitch?
Forget the pitch. You've got an itch.
That itch could be dandruff. Silence it. Head & Shoulders removes up to 100% dandruff and itch. Head & Shoulders.
Now, I'd like you to take extra special care of Mum.
Of course.
Like my car, Tyrant Auto.
Get $100 off your next logbook service plus 17 cents per litre off Shell fuel when you book online. Get the care you deserve at My Car Tyrant Auto. People first.
Thank God you're here, Captain.
You too.
Oh my God.
So I actually have vertigo, so this is actually really brave of me.
You're wicked, Erica.
Kids really relate to me rapping.
Look who's walking through the blue door. It's Ray O'Leary, Susie Youssef, Virginia Gay and Lloyd Langford. Thank God you're here on 10 and 10 Play. Find out what's behind the door. 7:30 tonight.
Late news, world-changing impact. How a single bag of chips disrupted the entire ecosystem of a famous cave. Plus, is the US about to make a move that could sway the war in Ukraine? See you on 10 Play and at 10:50 on Channel 10.
They fled their home countries and can never return. And now some of them can't go to their local shopping centre either. Logan Central Plaza has issued lifelong bans to refugees who are peacefully protesting for permanent visas.
It was all too much for this little girl. Logan Central Plaza security stormed the car park, tearing down tents as Queensland police watched on.
The only question comes in our mind, what we had done wrong.
As the sun set, the protesters' chants grew louder.
Enough is enough!
A Sri Lankan mother fainted, scaring her son.
I was quite distressed.
And so was she. Refugees who refused to leave were given a life ban from the plaza.
15 years we live this in country, we worked and we paid taxes, and it's still they not even feel we are human.
This letter was handed to them just hours before security arrived, saying, "We understand and appreciate the passion behind your protest. However, the ongoing occupation is now affecting business." Protesters slept on the footpath last night as their campout reached its 24th day. Today, another protester collapsed.
He literally fainted from screaming and just shouting and asking for justice.
These refugees refuse to stop protesting until they're promised permanent visas. They hope maybe now Jim Chalmers will listen.
Jim, show your heart.
Bianca Carboni for 10 News First.
Hamas is insisting civilians are among the dead after an Israeli airstrike hit a designated humanitarian zone in southern Gaza. The IDF says it targeted a command and control centre run by the militant group. But locals have said a makeshift camp for refugees was hit. Early reports had the death toll at 40, but it's since been revised down, despite an ongoing search for people still missing, believed to be buried near the crater. Meanwhile, Israel's military has released new video of a tunnel in Rafah where they say Hamas executed 6 hostages last month.
You can see magazines, an AK-47 magazine, chargers, all used by the terrorists, Quran books, a hairbrush.
5 of the 6 captives were taken from the Nova Music Festival on October 7. These latest deaths have fuelled more protests across Israel in support of a hostage deal. There's been an embarrassing and very expensive fender bender at Atlanta's main international airport. A fully loaded Delta Airlines A350 was about to depart for Tokyo when it clipped a much smaller commuter jet, leaving its tail hanging precariously off the side of the aircraft. The smaller Endeavour airplane was immediately evacuated. The less damaged Airbus was towed back to the gate, and the 221 passengers on board were transferred onto another plane. Prince William was back on the job in Wales just hours after his wife Catherine's emotional video about her cancer journey was released. Clearly a favourite with the children in Lunelli, Wills was treated to a song in Welsh before heading outside to greet the locals. The overwhelming message from the community was one of love and respect after Princess Catherine's heartfelt revelations about her cancer battle. It's been one of Australia's most baffling missing child mysteries, and on the eve of the 10-year anniversary of William Tyrrell's disappearance, we take a look at where the search for the little 3-year-old boy in the Spider-Man suit lies now.
Exactly 10 years ago, William Tyrrell was sitting on his foster dad's shoulders ordering a McHappy meal. Security vision shows him and his sister and foster parents having dinner on their fateful road trip north.
They've got pictures of us travelling. They can show that there's pictures of all of us in the car when we stopped at McDonald's. We're all there. I mean, everything we did has been accounted for.
A decade on, police suspect his foster mum covered up his accidental death, but they have never presented any evidence publicly against her.
My heart goes out to both his foster and his biological family at what is going to be a very hard anniversary for them.
1 minute playing at his foster granny's house in Kendall on the mid-north coast. The next, hundreds of people were searching, but the scene was not locked down.
Sadly, we know if a child is abducted by a stranger, those first 3 hours are absolutely critical in finding them.
A homicide team was called in, led by Detective Inspector Hans Rupp, who cleared the foster parents of any wrongdoing. The case was then taken over by Detective Chief Inspector Gary Jubilan, and over the next 5 years, he re-investigated the foster parents, grilling them and also covertly listening in when they thought they were alone. He too cleared them of any wrongdoing. The strike force would sift through 15,000 pieces of information, 600 persons of interest and 1,000 false sightings of William.
Where's that William guy? You're doing really well.
In years gone by on this day, massive new searches were launched, but this year, police say there will be none. On the 10th anniversary of his disappearance, they remain committed to finding William Tyrrell. Strikeforce detectives continue to prepare information for the coronial inquest. It reconvenes in November.
Never give up hope. I firmly believe somebody out there knows what happened to William.
Ali Donaldson for 10 News First.
Still to come, first it was puffing, then vaping. Just look what some young Queenslanders are doing now. The latest trend that has alarmed parents and specialists. And what these sun suits have revealed about where you're more likely to burn.
Hollywood hero Chris Hemsworth drops in. That's the project next.
Every time you eat, hey, stop it. There's a dog in your face.
Thursday, a goggle boxer gets help from the dog father.
You've got to be careful, he would break your finger.
Then more from the Pawsome Couch Critics. From 7:30 Thursday on 10 and 10 Play.
When things collide, they make noise. Real noise. Noise loud enough to turn Tuesday into Taco Tuesday. Old El Paso, make some noise.
The Mazda M event is now on. Until September 15th, enjoy an M event bonus of between $500 and $1,500. Now is the perfect time to get into your new Mazda. Make the move today.
Key. You had the key.
You had the key.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
With Wise, Tina can spend and send money in other currencies.
Tina's gone.
International. Moving all around, money head there, everywhere, man, I like that sound. Ding, 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 ding. International. Moving all around, money head there, everywhere, man, I like that sound.
Wise, the app for doing things in other currencies.
Ding, ding.
Makona, for lovers of coffee.
An ordinary brush can leave more plaque behind, Lara. Well, plaque can lead you here paying for cavities.
That's why I switched to Oral-B Electric and Taste. Its round brush head removed up to 100% more plaque. Don't let cavities make you pay.
Don't miss the Allergies Dual Action Strength. Clears hay fever from just 5 minutes. Don't miss the allergy. Clears hay fever from just 5 minutes.
Bring a smile to school lunchboxes this spring with great fresh specials. Like Queensland strawberries 250 grams, bursting with flavour, and now just $1.80 a punnet. That's today's fresh food, people.
This is your Australia Zoo.
Spring into these school holidays at Australia Zoo. Watch Yo and family feed the crocs, explore the zoo like the wild robot, and jump your way through our massive inflatable obstacle course at Australia Zoo.
Maybe you keep your mouth shut. That's what you should do.
We're not on maths.
Yeah, you ain't swimming right now either.
There's mud, sweat and tears. 7 o'clock Sunday on 10 and 10 Play.
Lakes Hyundai at North Lakes is part of a family-owned and operated business for over 55 years. It's your one-stop shop for Hyundai, from sales to service. Come and see Joseph and Joe Camilleri today at Lakes Hyundai. We've got the north side covered.
G'day, a final check on those roads as we wrap up your Wednesday. A little bit of traffic heading over from Fortitude Valley towards Kangaroo Point on the Story Bridge, and the Riverside Expressway still about a 20-minute delay. As you can see, very heavy heading out of the city down through Wollongabba. Not a bad run for the M1 down to the Gold Coast. Still quite busy for the Gateway, northbound through Boondall, pushing up towards Brackenridge, about 15 minutes. It's Travis Groves, thanks to Lakes Hyundai. I'll be back for another traffic update tomorrow. Drive safe.
Work has continued on the Centenary Bridge, where a worker almost died yesterday. And a warning, the images we're about to show you are confronting. The man in his 30s fell over a trip hazard and landed on a sheet of mesh and had to be cut free when a piece of steel lodged through the man's neck. He was then taken to hospital where he's recovering from surgery. Workplace health and safety inspectors returned to the site today as investigations continue. A dozen guns have been seized during a police sting stretching from the Wide Bay to the Sunshine Coast. Officers carried out 11 search warrants, including in this Gympie workshop, where they found single and double-barrel shotguns, some allegedly stolen. Gun parts, ammunition and drugs were also uncovered. 14 people have been charged with a combined 63 offences. We came so close. This generation of children could have been the first to live smoke-free. But then vapes arrived and researchers fear they become a gateway. Tobacco use is soaring and tonight we can reveal a new way teenagers are getting their nicotine fix.
It's a TikTok trend that's taking hold in Australia.
Is that a white dove? Is that a plane? Is that a shooting star?
Nicotine pouches. Not quite a cigarette, but more like a Tic Tac that sit behind your lip.
Young adult smokers, about 1/5 of them have tried pouches.
A year ago, I'd never even heard of it, didn't know anyone who used it, and now, pretty much everyone I know's tried one.
And they're far more potent than most vapes.
The strength of them is a lot stronger than a vape sometimes, so they give a bigger hit of nicotine as well.
You close one door, another one opens for the tobacco industry, right? It's like playing whack-a-mole.
And while the number of Australian teenagers smoking has fallen to 14%, vapes are keeping kids hooked.
The younger you start vaping, the greater the increased risks of smoking later on.
A survey of more than 5,000 children found 12-year-olds who vape are 29 times more likely to try smoking traditional cigarettes.
To me, it's so discouraging to think we've made so much progress in tobacco control.
With Queensland to become the first state in Australia with powers to shut down businesses caught selling illegal vapes when laws pass Parliament tonight.
The data clearly shows that the situation is getting worse.
Matthew Carstunen for 10 News First.
They looked like Wiggles, but scientists have sacrificed style and comfort for a deadly serious reason. Researchers from the Australian Radiation Protection and Nuclear Safety Agency wore suits fitted with 31 sensors to measure UV radiation at South Bank. The results took into account reflection, which helped reveal where you are more likely to burn.
If you look at the calves and the torso, when you're on sand, we see much higher UV radiation exposure than when on grass.
Early results show those body parts could be exposed to up to 36% more UV radiation on the sand. Researchers hope it helps people understand risk and protect themselves. After the break, we'll have all your day's sports news, including an NRL clash of the fullbacks. But can Cowboys Scott Drinkwater tame one of the league's best? And a 10 News First exclusive as an Honest Raw coach opens up on the next big challenge.
Hollywood superstar Jared Leto joins us right here at the desk.
In this house, anything can happen.
I am the Taskmaster.
Tom Gleeson is back.
Oh my gosh. OMG, yay.
New Taskmaster is coming to Tuesdays.
We can see more of the world than ever. With Bridgestone Tech Check, you see what needs repairing now and what can wait, so you can go with confidence. Bridgestone Select Tyre and Auto.
Beast inside you.
Have a peek at this. Powerball has jackpotted to $12 million. Better get a ticket.
In my fancy shoes.
Makona, for lovers of coffee.
Short getaways, big savings, Queensland. Right now, save up to 60% off your second guest. Enjoy a free balcony upgrade and save big with our family offer. This deal won't last, so hurry. Holiday in every way with Royal Caribbean.
At Woolworths, enjoy great weekly specials this spring. Like Australian Fresh RSPCA approved chicken breast fillets bulk tray, now $9.50 a kilo, save $1.50 a kilo. That's today's fresh food, people.
I'll be riding shotgun. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive has tackled Australia's rugged terrain for generations, inviting adventure at every turn.
Underneath the hot sun, feeling like someone.
Now introducing the all-new, all-electric Subaru Solterra, the latest SUV to join Subaru's Cantor Blue award-winning range. It's you and Subaru for a world discovered. See you out there.
Key. You had the key.
You had the key.
Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
I'm Nat from O'Brien.
These cracks all started as chips.
Happens a lot.
We replaced thousands of windscreens.
But a chip repair is faster, cheaper and greener.
And with car insurance, your repair is usually free.
Book today.
Over 2.1 million Australian adults smoke daily. If you're struggling to quit, triple your chances with Nicobate Mini Lozenges 4 milligrams. Nicobate Minis contain nicotine and help relieve sudden cravings fast. It helps smokers quit by replacing some of the nicotine they're used to getting from cigarettes. Their small, pocket-sized design makes them convenient to use anytime, anywhere. Join the many individuals who've successfully quit smoking with the help of Nicobate Mini Lozenges. That's your healthy bite.
Thank God you're here, Captain.
You too.
Oh my God.
Tonight, what'll happen when Ray O'Leary, Susie Youssef, Virginia Gay and Lloyd Langford go through the blue door on Thank God You're Here.
North Queensland fullback Scott Drinkwater says he's learnt his lesson from overplaying his hand. The Cowboys' X-Factor at the back, attempting to take the pressure off himself as he prepares to face night star Kalyn Ponga on Saturday.
Thirsty work for Scott Drinkwater as he prepares for the fullback battle of his life against Kalyn Ponga.
I mean, we don't really come across each other too much in the game. Unless he makes a line break, then I'll be nervous.
He's been making plenty of those lately. The Knights' main man again dragging his side into finals.
It's a big challenge, and you can see he understands how big of an influence he is on that team, and when he's firing like he has been, you know, they're a hard team to stop.
Drinkwater's also dialed in at the back end. He's made the fourth most mistakes in the NRL after a mixed start to the season.
Yeah, I probably struggle with that consistency a little bit, maybe over-trying and not focusing on probably simpler actions in my game. But yeah, I feel like maybe the last 2.5 months, I've been a lot more consistent, making less errors.
Jerome Hughes hasn't had any such issues, with many predicting he'll win the Dally M medal.
That's what he's been saying around the group. Nah, I think so. He's been the most influential and the best player in the competition consistently.
The Storm take on 2022's best and a former teammate when they play the Sharks on Saturday.
And I go up against one of my good mates, Nico, so we usually talk a fair bit, but we're not talking this week, so he might be, I think he's gearing up, ready to go.
And that's what Craig Bellamy's trying to do with his team of larrikins.
Well, that's why he's on a ton of money.
Keanu Kinney could be due a pay rise too after taking out the Titans Player of the Season. Ted Roker for 10 News First.
The AFLW's three-time best and fairest winner Ali Anderson looks to have taken her game to an even higher level. After breaking the competition's disposal record on the weekend, the Lions leader revealed just how good a pre-season she's coming off.
Yeah, I guess a couple of PBs in the pre-season and, you know, just trying to get stronger and find those 1%ers. But as a team, we train really well together and, you know, we all push each other, so we're all constantly getting better as a group. So, yeah, that helps a lot.
The Lions take on the winless Magpies at Springfield on Friday. Graham Arnold says he needs to do a lot of thinking after the Socceroos' goalless draw against Indonesia. The coach insists it's not a disaster, despite Australia now sitting second bottom of their group as they try to qualify for the World Cup.
After a 0-0 draw, Graham Arnold seemed to be asking what many fans were.
How many chances do we create? How many chances do we give? And it's been a common theme for, over a year.
Many chances, but unable to put it in the back of the net. The Socceroos trying to walk away with the positives.
We've got to keep improving. I think we improved on the performance against Bahrain, and we've got to keep doing that now.
In front of a hostile crowd of 80,000 fans, the Aussies withstood an early onslaught from Indonesia.
An early chance, which Matt Ryan has to parry away and struck.
But as time wore on, the men in gold were building. A series of set pieces almost brought a breakthrough, but it was Nestori Irankunda who came closest.
Irankunda going to have a go from distance. Oh, and the goalkeeper got lucky. It hit the post and rebounded onto the back of the goalkeeper, and that could have gone anywhere.
Subbed on, Adam Taggart's effort was saved.
Will it sit for them here? Oh, and it's straight at Martin Pass.
The Socceroos take just 1 point from their opening 2 matches of round 3 in their World Cup qualifying campaign, with 8 games to play.
Second spot's on 4 at the moment, so it's not like it's a disaster, but I've got to go home and do a lot of thinking.
Nothing is ever given to you in life and in football, and we've got to do better in order to go and earn the results that's going to qualify us for this next World Cup.
4 weeks to reset before facing China, then Japan. Chloe Amanda Bailey for 10 News First.
The Roar has returned from a life-changing pre-season tournament in India, ready to take the A-League by storm. They'll face a Queensland NPL All-Stars side on Friday night, but they may not have it all their own way.
From India to Slacks Creek, the Roar is back and ready to build.
A trip like that, it might have just over 2 weeks. It felt like 2 months.
They bowed out of the Bandodka Trophy semi-finals against Odisha FC, and while there were some promising moments...
Chance for Brisbane Roar! And they are back in this game!
The biggest challenge was adjusting to life off the pitch.
Where the boys were eyes wide open, ears wide open. A lot of learning moments for us, and a lot of togetherness. We come back with staff and players really united.
The Queensland All-Stars are set to test that as part of the Festival of Football, a side made up of the best of the state's NPL players.
When you bring in any All-Stars team, just getting to know the players around you. You've played against them, you know their strengths, their weaknesses, but sort of how to play with them is a different challenge.
If you think the Roar should win this one comfortably, well, the last time they met back in 2022 proves otherwise. Despite trailing by 2 goals early on, the Queensland side actually ended up winning 3-2.
It just goes to show that there is a lot of quality in the NPL, and it's always a challenging game for the A-League team when they have to play in that game.
Yeah, of course, you get bragging rights for 30 minutes or an hour or whatever it is to your workmates, but yeah, it would be cool, but let's see what happens.
As for what we can expect to see from Ruben Zadkovic's side this A-League season...
Every game we're going to get the ball down and we'll look to try and be front foot, proactive, and they're all buzzwords, for most coaches, especially in interviews, but I'm a big believer, and that's the way the game should be played.
Josh McLean for 10 News First.
Tyrell Harrison has led the Brisbane Bullets to another win at the NBL Blitz. The Kiwi big man recording a double-double with 21 points and 10 rebounds as they beat Melbourne United by 7.
There you go. Look at that. Speaking of Ghidella, that's what we want to see.
The Bullets next face their first Queensland derby of the Blitz against the Cairns Taipans on Saturday. Australia white ball captain Mitch Marsh says Josh Hazlewood will play the first of 3 T20s against England. Despite Pat Cummins, Mitch Starc and Glenn Maxwell not being there, there is no lack of bowling options.
As a captain and as a team, it's really beneficial bouncing in and out of different bowling options. So I think the more we can develop our young all-rounders and give guys like Aaron Hardy and Cameron Green more opportunity at this level, the better it'll be for us.
England will blood 3 debutants in the first match in Southampton. Australia has started the Davis Cup finals with a 2-1 win over France. Tanasi Kokonakis, replacing the injured Alex de Minaur, upset 20-year-old Arthur Fils in straight sets. Ugo Humbert cruised past Alexei Poprin before 2022 Wimbledon doubles champions Matt Ebden and Max Purcell sealed the deal.
It's a hat-trick of Davis Cup finals victories for Australia over France.
Leighton Hewitt's Cup contenders take on the 8th-placed Czech Republic on Thursday. Stay with us. Up next, we'll get a final check of your weather.
32 cases, $100,000 and one incredibly excited audience waiting at the time of their lives. That's the deal. Moments away on 10 and 10 Friday.
Endeavour Foundation supports people with disability to live, learn, work and flourish. With thanks to your ongoing support, we're helping people with disability to live the best days ever! Find out how to live your best days ever with Endeavour Foundation at endeavour.com.au.
Look at that glow. Over 4 weeks, we put to the test Garnier's day and night serums enriched with vitamin C.
The texture's so smooth.
My skin has never looked bright.
After 4 weeks, it visibly reduces dark spots. Vitamin C day and night serums by Garnier, naturally.
I think that I'll keep loving you. Got some things to do.
Hester, super with impact.
Checking your mirrors and straightening up. That's it. Handbrake up.
Can't get out of the car to do your shopping? With Woolworths free direct to boot, we'll do it for you. Bye. That's today's fresh food people.
Fancy Feast. Culinary inspired. Cat adored. Every delicious detail, every delicate bite brings you and your cat closer together. Fancy Feast. Love is in the details.
How was your promotion thing?
I don't know.
Well, I'm so proud of you, Dad. I got you something in the glove box. And before you ask, they didn't have fruit and nut.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Beautiful business.
Start your morning with unforgettable taste. The perfect cup of coffee at the touch of a button with intense aromas and generous crema. No barista required. Nespresso. What else?
Zoom, zoom.
Introducing Primo Reserve, selecting the finest cuts, traditionally crafted for an award-winning range. We reserve the best so you can create your best. There's good, there's great, and then there is Primo.
7 o'clock Sunday, there's llama drama.
Llamas suck. Of course it's going to happen. We get the one broken llama.
Celebrity Amazing Race, 7 o'clock Sunday on 10 and 10 Play.
Tonight's weather report is brought to you by Endeavour Foundation, making possibilities a reality for people with disability.
Hello friends, Liz Cantor with your weather and thanks for joining us on 10. Clear sky here on the Gold Coast at the moment, but if you look at the radar to the north of Brisbane, there is still some activity. Earlier today, Redcliffe recorded 16 millimetres. Showers are weakening and contracting to the north. There is still some moisture making it inland in the humid winds. The satellite reflects this with a cluster of isolated clouds you can see over the southeast. Now, a high in the Tasman is maintaining a ridge of fine weather over most of Queensland. However, a new trough moves into the southwest and travels eastward tomorrow, bringing instability back to southern and central Queensland on Thursday with a chance of severe storms, heavy rainfall, damaging wind gusts and hail. Here's a look at tomorrow's rainfall. Nasty areas of red and black sweeping across the south and southeast. Only isolated pockets of severe weather though, so not too widespread. It'll be hit and miss for many suburbs. Across Australia, sunshine for Perth and Adelaide, showers in a chilly top of 15 for Melbourne and Hobart, showers in a top of 20 for Sydney. Back in Queensland, dry in the north, a top of 29 again for Cairns.